I was a clicker for a long time, but I was able to use PowerAuras to help me move to keybinds, and the purpose of this video is to show others how to do it pretty easily. Once you move to keybinds, you free your mouse up for more important things, like looking around to see important details about your surroundings, and quickly move out of bad stuff, like fire. I'm more into leveling at the moment, and as you can probably see by the gear in this guy, I haven't played him in a long time, so this is a good demonstration of how to quickly learn your spell rotations and such with PowerAuras. So I took off my buffs here so you can get the full picture of what I have PowerAuras doing for me. The first thing you should do is set up your key bindings. I don't go too crazy. Basically, I use the keys closest to my movement keys to keep my hand in one place. I don't bother with binding buffs either, since you use those pretty infrequently. For me on bar 1, the important ones are 2, 3, Q, E, R, and 4. And on bar 2, I use the same keys but add the shift modifier. Now we open up PowerAuras with a slash POWA command. I'll just move the boxes around so nothing covers the actual auras. You see the first one I have is for Power Fortitude. I make sure the buff option is selected, the word Fortitude. Important is also to have it inverted and to take off the thing here where it says resting. Otherwise, since I'm in town here, it's not going to work. And I want to use the WoW texture there. And I test that, and it shows up there on the aura will show up right there on the screen. And you can use these sliders here and move it around, increase the size. So I'll put it back pretty much where it was. Close that one. Let me go to the next one. This one's Vampiric Embrace. I just used the word Embrace. It doesn't, PowerAuras doesn't need the whole buff name. So here, just resizing and moving it around. And you'll see also on all these buffs, I have invert checked. I have resting unchecked since I'm in town and I want to demonstrate this. And I also have the use the WoW textures checked just for the buffs. And here's inner fire. It's the same thing. And shadow protection. And power word shield. You see here I used text aura and a caret and the number 2. And the reason of that is that the power word shield I actually have mapped on bar 2, the second slot. So shift 2 would actually be the key binding for that. And like before, I had the same options selected to invert. What invert does is it displays the aura whenever, in this case, the buff isn't active. So when these auras show up on the screen, it tells me that I need to buff myself. Okay, and this one is a Vampiric Touch. I have this set for on the enemy target debuff, and I also have it inverted, so it'll tell me when the target does not have Vampiric Touch on it. Let's keep on to number 2. Next one here is looks like Shadow Word Pain, down to 3. Also inverted, so it tells the aura will pop up. The number 3 will pop up when when Shadow Word Pain is not active on my target. Let me test that. You can see I stick that there. Next one, Devouring Plague. Same situation, inverted, so it'll pop up when Devouring Plague is not on my target. You can see here how I'm ordering these numbers. This is the priority that well, I got this from shadowpriest.net just a few minutes before I logged in to make this video. So if it's not accurate, I apologize for it. I don't play the priest much anymore, so just wanted to kind of give an idea how quickly you can get going. So that last one, Shadow Word Death, and this one, Mind Flay. You'll see that what I'm doing with these, or Mind Blast, not Mind Flay. What I'm doing with these is I have it set to action usable, since it doesn't really put a debuff on the target. It'll just pop up when I can use the spell again. This one here is for Shadow Fiend. When I have this set for, it is gonna watch my mana when I get to under 20%. That's what this this little blank checkbox here is. Unchecked means it's low, so when I go under 20%, this should pop up, the shift 3, telling me to use Shadow Fiend on my target and restore some mana. So let's see this at work. So I select my target. You can see all my spells are available. I need to buff myself. I noticed after I made this video that it didn't make a buff for Shadow Fiend, Shadow Form. But that's not a big deal. I mean, normally, most times, I just log out in Shadow Form. I don't know why. Actually, I'm not in Shadow Form at the moment. Yeah, I think I noticed here that it didn't have Mind Flay for Wrestling, so you can see it didn't activate because Wrestling had an X on it. So I took that off, and now my Mind Flay, their aura is back. So here I'm going to buff myself, and you see as I buff myself, these buff auras go away. I'm going to put on my Shadow Form. You don't really need to use Power Word Shield. Most of the time, when you're leveling is fine, but I'll use it here just to show what happens. And just, the aura goes away. So I'll start doing the spell rotation on this thing. So Vampiric Touch, 2 goes away, and as I go through the rotation, you see the auras go away. So you can kind of see that the way I have it set up is my rotation goes top to bottom, and as the button on top is the one I want to push. So 2 came up, 2 I'm going to hit next. For Vampiric Touch, nothing is available except for 4, which you can't see. Should have moved the auras around because of these debuffs showing up here. So basically what I'm doing here is kind of like a whack-a-mole, where I'm just, as the letters pop up, the higher ones I'm going to hit that button. And if the spell rotation is right on shadowpriest.net, should be pretty close to the most amount of DPS possible you can do. Of course, if you're really good, you're gonna watch, and you won't ever see these numbers come up because you're gonna know when your Vampiric Touch is gonna fall off and your Devour Plague is gonna fall off. So you shouldn't see that stuff. Well, that's it. I hope it helped you, and if you want to see how I set up any other classes, just leave a comment.